be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Built to Exit podcast with me, your humble host, Jason Sisneros, where we talk about welcome to all the new viewers from around the world that we've been getting. It's been an amazing experience getting to know all of you, being surprised, pleasantly surprised, when you wake up and you go, oh, this message is getting out. It is getting out there. And that is in large part, really in all part due to those of you that have watched me consistently, all the way back to the Bald Avenger days, that podcast that I had, back in those days through the Chairman Project podcast, all the way through to now to the Built to Exit. So that is the only reason that this show grows, because we don't do any advertising. We do no marketing. We just realize, throughout my entire career, again, those of you that are new, I'm a business owner. I'm just like you, actually. I've just been at it a lot longer. I figured out a couple of things, and that's really what the show is about, is to open up those doors for other small and mid-sized business owners who I think the world is focused on right now. You're the only ones making any money. You're the only ones that have any extra profit. You're the only ones that have any, we're the only ones that have any expendable income, as they say, in those terms. So everybody's focused, right? Private equity's looking to buy those kind of cash streams. You've got all of those things. And that's really what today's show is going to be about. Because I want you to have self-defense. I want you to have knowledge. And the greatest form of self-defense in business is knowledge. And the biggest form of knowledge that you can have is intellectual knowledge about the game that you're playing, not emotional knowledge of, hey, I just got to put my head down and grind, and I got to put all, look, any who I speak to on this show is business owners. Like, the people, this is one of the places that business owners can come and just be like, oh, okay, nobody's coming after my wallet. I don't have to second guess shit. This guy actually owns businesses. My wife and I actually actively buy, sell, operate businesses as we speak, and just so happen to have a passion about teaching and helping. And I don't like bullies, and I see that that there's a lot of bullying going on against small and mid-sized businesses. So here I am. It's self-defense, and a lot of business owners can come here and go, okay, my defenses can be down, my ears can be open. I can talk to and listen to somebody who knows my plight because he is in my plight. We are business owners. Less than 10% of the world stacks up to be a business owner. Less than 10% of us throughout history remains consistent, are wired as entrepreneurs. I like to say merchants, right? That's I go back in time. There is no improvements. There's no roofs overhead. There's no HVAC. There's no refrigerators. I do this every week because I'm so proud, and people don't realize that the only reason that these things exist is not, generally speaking, because of the person who invents it. It's because of the business person who gets it out and commercializes it, figures out a way to make money, figures out a way to get it into the hands of a target audience. The ones that have to, small and mid-sized business owners have to, we have to quell our mommy issues, our daddy issues, our biases, our prejudices, our weaknesses, and build on our strengths, because that's the only way that people will do business with you, is if you build on those strengths, that you represent trust, you represent follow through, you represent opportunity, you represent easing suffering for those in the world and yes, you do it for a profit. And yes, you risk deeply, right? This is what we do as business owners. You have to go get loans. Not nobody, but very few of us were ever born with a family who was just like, here's a $10,000 check. Here's a $5 million check. Go see if this business thing works for you. It's not the way that it has worked for me. It's not the way that it's worked for most of the people that follow me. It's like, I got good at something. I hate my boss. He or she is an idiot. I'm going to go do this on my own. And, or you watch an ad somewhere and you're like, oh, inspired. Again, I just believe that if and Mark Andreessen said it best. He said that if you are an entrepreneur, or a business owner or a merchant, you can't not be an entrepreneur. You can't not be it. It's just eventually at some point in time, you're going to stumble into it, or you might already be there. Who I really speak to in this podcast the most directly. And I know that we have most of you are not my target audience for Built to Exit because most of you are running businesses and haven't come to this one conclusion yet. This conclusion that is our target audience is somebody that realizes the real statement called everybody exits, how matters. It's a realization that you come to in a quiet moment where you say, okay, for me, it was at a funeral, and it's like, oh, this person that's in that box, they're not taking their business with them. I know the scenario that they left behind. It's a mess. His wife didn't know anything about running the business, had 5 children. 2 of them were in the business. One of them was okay. The other one was literally just draining the business dry. So it was and I'm sitting there and I know all those dynamics because the family brought us in to try to help them get the business back on track after the tragedy of losing, the founder. And so I was sitting there and it was just a great self-reflection where I'm like, you know what? Everybody exits. And then I started thinking about what kind of exits are there. Well, there's the involuntary exits, which is the 3 that I crashed early in my career. And I know this is a repetition for some of you that have been with me, but I think it bears repeating that those were my first exits, right? Were failure. And I think 95%, I wasn't alone. There's nothing to be ashamed of because 95% of companies do end up in that failure area. And then I was like, okay, well, I fixed that. So we don't want an involuntary exit, which is death, divorce, discrepancies, partners that you break up. There's all kinds of reasons why you do an involuntary exit, and maybe your business just runs out of money. And then there's the dictated exit where somebody knows what they're doing and I didn't know what I was doing and they kicked my ass in the transaction. Then I was like, okay, shift over to custom tailored, right? Custom tailored suits. Everybody understands they're aware of the idea of custom tailoring. Custom tailoring means that you have to have an idea of what it looks like and then reverse engineer. My nickname in business is the architect because that's what I do. I go to the end game. If you can't clearly, this is why a lot of you are not my target audience, if you can't clearly articulate why you are building a business, what that end game looks like, that you know you're building it for an exit, that you know how much money you want to be able to make, to be able to do the one thing that you own a business for. The one thing that you own a business for, whether you articulate it or can't or whatever, is freedom, right? And not the kind of freedom that all this bullshit marketing stuff gets, throws out there. We want to be free. No, I'm talking about the kind of freedom that you have taken personal responsibility in your own life to define all the way to, what is it? A house paid off, 2 cars paid off, $1 million in the bank spinning off 10% interest, 2 trips to around the world every year, my kids' stuff paid off, blah, 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 until you get to that place. And on the other side of it, you see that number, you're just playing the game of the 95% who fail. Okay, that's not, you'll eventually mature to that phase where you get to the 5%, which is our target audience. We want to help 600 businesses sell for $30 million or more over the next 5 years. That's our stated outcome for Built to Exit. And for that reason, you've got to know that number. Now we can help you identify it, but if you don't know that, then there's no reason, there is no target, there is no end game, there's no finish line, I could give you a million different anachronisms of what it is, but if you don't know that, and that's most of the people on the planet, don't know what they're playing. Tomorrow's going to be a lot like today because just it is, right? I'm going to be the same because I have to be the same for people around me. My business is going to kind of be the same until somebody comes and knocks me out with new technology or more enthusiasm or a better sales pitch or a lower price or whatever. Really, most people are sitting around waiting for the next bad thing to happen to them or the next competitor to kick their ass. That's most people, right? If we're being honest, that's not my people. My people, including myself, my wife, my team, everybody that's around me, we have objectives, right? And when we meet those objectives, what do? We set higher objectives. And the idea is mostly, as I say about my family in the business community, we're really servants. Thank God there is a way for us to make money with our servantship, but most of us are servants. Like no matter how high and mighty business owners may act, no matter what you may think of them, most of the business owners who are successful, especially first generation business owners that are successful, are literally servants inside. They will give you the shirt off of their back. They will do things for you outside of the norm. They do things for their employees outside of the norm. They do things for their community outside of the norm. They pay more taxes than most people outside of the norm. They support their charities and their churches and their synagogues and their mosques at a super high level, because inside of a great business owner is a great servant. That's where we start. And if that's not you and you're in this for yourself, you will find this game of business extraordinarily excruciating, extraordinarily difficult, until you realize that you are meant to, a successful business has to fall in love with the outcome of their target audience, number one. Number two, you then immediately, once you figure that piece out, you immediately start building it for the next owner, right? That's it. Whether that's your kids, whether that's a private equity firm, whether that's a roll-up, whatever that spectrum is, that is the idea and the mindset of a very successful business owner, okay? Those are the premises, right? Building for freedom. Now I've identified it clearly. I've taken that personal responsibility. I now have a number of what that outcome is. And now I'm building towards it. And I'm taking this asset, this business. I get pumped up every single Saturday to come here and talk to business owners because it blows me away. Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Built to Exit, a world-class business consulting firm that's helped hundreds of clients and thousands of business owners fix, scale, and successfully master their companies. Let me ask you a question. Are you serious about changing the direction of your business, but you don't have the funds to bring in a high-level consulting team? Well, then keep watching. We created the Built to Exit system specifically for entrepreneurs like you. Whether you're a startup trying to avoid costly mistakes or a seasoned owner stuck in a plateau or a downturn, this do-it-yourself system is your answer. Now, this course isn't easy. It's not a gimmick. It's not sugar-coated motivational feel-good fest if you know me at all. It's a graduate level masterclass built from decades of business ownership, consulting, and real-world results. If you're willing to do the work and follow the blueprint we use with companies that pay us 5 and 6 figures, you will finally have a system that gives you time freedom, financial control, and a clear path to a successful exit. So if you're serious about building a business that works with or without you, go to www.b2xsystem.com right now, because everybody exits. The only question is how. Let me just take a second here for a second. It blows me away when I look at my life and the family name and the family of nobodies from nowhere that never took risk to do more and to whatever, and to not be born into a family on the right side of the tracks, not to be born into the family of the right last name or all the rights, right? All of these things. And for most people, when they come to that realization and they go, there's a lot of things about me that are not in that easy street. I'm not sure there is such a thing, but not in that privileged arena. And there's two ways to go with that realization. The day you come to that realization is to go, oh, the world sucks because it's set up against me. And then the other side, which is where, thank God I had mentors in my life that drove me this way. I started out on Bitter Street, but I went over in there and then I had mentors tell me, you know what? Here's the story of why this person is successful. You may look at them and go, oh, you're seeing what's happening today with their success, but what you didn't see was they were born into a situation like you. Where my adopted father went to prison when I was 17 for attempted murder of me and my mom, right? That's not the greatest of time. That's the years before that, the years after that, those types of things, crashing businesses. Those are the people who build successful things. Why? Because we have an empathy for having our own ass kicked, and we want to go out and we want to serve people. And in that servitude, when we realize there's a profit for it, now our business is a representation of a lot of our trauma. And so I could walk around going, somebody else please solve my trauma. Or I could take my trauma and go, oh, you know what? The way that I get out of this stuff that happened to me was to be a better human being. It's to challenge that inner core. It's to take that DNA and shift it into easing suffering instead of adding suffering, instead of being a vulture and a leech on society and going, poor me, somebody please take care of me. I'm over here going, I got to get my body, I got to get my mind, I've got to get my business, I'm taking personal responsibility for my own behaviors and my own actions in the format that we have been given. Thank God to Almighty above, thank God to God above, that we have given to us nobody from nowhere, the opportunity for me to be able to build a business that changes my stars and the stars of my children and the stars of my grandchildren, and the very meaning of the name, let me see if I could get this right, Sisneros. That name has changed because I forced myself to become someone who was of service to the world through the mechanism called my business. When you get that, it takes on another meaning. Now it's not like, oh my gosh, I wonder if I'm going to make it another month. Now it's like, oh, how can I get out? How can I get out and love more? How can I get out and serve more? How can I get more data from my customer and understand how better to turn that? What are my raving fans thinking? That person who left me, how can I interview them and find out why they hated us? What was about our service and process and products that I could change? Like that's it. That's the greatest opportunity that we have. And you happen to be living through an era where people are getting progressively more lazy and progressively more stupid around you and progressively more selfish around you, which means that your ability to shine once you understand the principles of business, understand the principle of building a service and product that eases suffering for other people, that makes them more money, saves them more money, or radically and measurably changes the quality of their life, which are the only three things a business experience is built for. Once you get to that point and that realization, you realize that you're rising above in the multitude of challenges, and the competition is lowering because they're using technology to push themselves away from their customers. They're using it to push themselves away from the human relationships and leadership opportunities that we have with our staff. They're using all of these things as an opportunity. They're using ChatGPT and AI for them to dumb themselves down to go, tell me this, instead of thinking, right? Thinking and serving and thinking and serving and loving and winning and losing and measuring and changing and altering and using this very, very powerful position called being a human being that has been given the gift of a business for you to be able to go, I'm going to outserve my competition. I'm going to make some money doing it. And in so doing, now I get to think further into the future, which is this is the gift of wealth, is that the only time you can think further into the future is when you have covered today's necessities, right? And if you cover today's necessities, now you can think longer term and go, okay, now I can go and start playing the end game of my business and go, if I got a $30 million exit, I was able to, and I'm going to put 20 million of that in my pocket. I'm going to put 10 million of that back to work over here, 5 million over to my kids, 2 million into a charitable foundation. Now you go, now that I'm free, what do you do when you're free? You think about the constraints that you have on you right now, the things that you would do if you could do that are constrained inside of you right now. And those constraints are simply the four edges of your business, called how much profit do I have? What's my receivables? How much cash do I have at my disposal? What my competition is doing? Is my business shrinking over time? Is it growing over time? Is it ever going to be something that somebody will lay out a $30 million check for me to be able to buy my business? You start to be able to focus on higher level problems. Businesses exist to solve problems. Those that are working in a business to eliminate problems for themselves are playing the wrong game. You want to solve higher level problems. What do I do with all this money? That's a higher level problem, right? Higher level. So let's see, where are we going? I got on to preaching there. Okay, so the episode today. Welcome to you that are new, and we'll get started here. But I want you to know that's who this group of people is. Every day, every time we do the show, we at the end of it, within 3 to 5 minutes, we go over and we jump onto Twitter, x.com, at the handle is at the letter J, Sisneros, right? At the J Sisneros. And a bunch of business owners, we pile in there, and for 15 minutes to an hour, we talk about this content. We talk about our lives. We talk about the things that we implemented in our business over the last 7 days. We talk about our wins. We talk about our challenges, and we just hang out together. Some of the greatest, and by the way, doing business with each other. And it's no bullshit. Like, we're not here, like, you don't feel like you're being jammed into a funnel. If you want to do business with Built to Exit or me or my team on anything, you'll know. Like, it's a pretty much a no-brainer. If not, you don't have the money, you don't have the time, you're not in the right position with your business. You also know that. I don't have to do a bunch of, subconscious throw you into a thing and here's 47 cents, but that 47 cents is an upsell to $47 to blah, blah. And look, there's no beef between me and people who do that, because that's how they feed their family. I'm not talking to people who, I'm not talking to the aspirational. I am talking to people who are legitimately in business. That's who I'm talking to. There is a ton of people out there that think that they want to be an entrepreneur. There's a ton of people out there that may have started a company, but there are very, very few of you who are merchants. That's my people. And I know there's less of you. I know there's less of you, I know that. But there's a whole hell of a lot of people that buy feel-good bullshit, and there's a lot of people that are real legit business owners that are tired of the feel-good bullshit. Right? The feel good, oh, it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. The psychological pump me up and put sunshine and rainbows up my butt when I got a payroll to meet. Right? When the big boys, private equity is buying up everybody around me, my competition's getting, like, there's real world problems for us to face as the brotherhood and sisterhood of business owners. Okay? So what's today about? Let's get right into it. Okay? I had this fun little little idea this last week. Most of these shows are based on something that comes up in a real world scenario. And, we're going to talk about a little bit of that today. But these buyers, you've got to think of, let me hyper focus this into those of you that are watching the show that have a real business. Okay. You can go to your LinkedIn right now, and you can open up, if you own a real business, a legit business, right? And open up your whatever, the messages in the back, the DMs, right? You can open that up, and I guarantee you're gonna find a message in there that's gonna say, hey, have you ever thought about building your business? You could go to your email, you could go to your text messages. If you own a legit business, at some point in time, you're gonna get 1 to 742 of those messages from people wanting to buy your business. Okay. And I want you to be able to immediately, we just went through this with a lady yesterday that was being approached in that manner, got excited because it's exciting. When you're like running a business and you're getting your ass kicked and you're like, you think, oh my gosh, I'm grinding it out for 10 grand a month. I'm grinding it out for 20 grand a month. I'm doing all this stuff. And somebody comes along and they go, hey, little boy, hey, little girl, I want to write you a big fat check for your business. We go, oh, okay. All right. This is an exciting concept. It's an exciting premise that somebody wants to buy our business. Now, I don't want to pop the bubble because every business can be built to sell, and I don't want to pop the bubble of that fantasy, but it is a fantasy. Unless you do specifically what it takes to build that business to exit. Okay? Other than that, it's a pipe dream. Why? 95% of all companies eventually fail, right? And of the 5% that are less that put themselves up for sale, less than 7% of those ever sell. And in that 7% that do sell, 50+% of them fall apart after the sale has been consummated. So that will tell me that that to do this is a narrow window. It's not a magical formula. It is a repeatable, duplicatable formula, right? That's what I learned. I went from 95%. I was part of the 95% 3 times I crashed businesses. Then I became part of the 7% that was actually able to sell one. But the thing kicked my ass, like paid me half of what it should. Took, 2 or 3 years for me to finally get my money. I had to stay in it just like I was working it and owning it, but for less money. It was crazy. Then I was like, I came to this conclusion. I've got to know how people buy businesses. And they buy them in one of 2 ways, right? This is the big bad wolf. I started thinking of it in the big bad wolf from 2 perspectives, from the grandma, right? The grandma, where the grandma got ate and then waiting for Little Red Riding Hood to come over. And I also looked at it from the 3 Little Pigs story, right? That you have them behind a trusted door, or they're outside the door knocking. And the best thing for you to do is to have that wolf outside the door knocking when you've built a brick building. And that really is what built to exit stands for. It's the not letting him in the house. Because a lot of times, and we'll go through this, very quickly, the wolf gets inside the house when you are most vulnerable. The wolf gets inside the house by an I know a guy strategy, right? A wolf gets in the house by being too busy or too egotistical to realize you might be good at your business, but you are an absolute kindergartner neophyte when it comes to packaging your company up to sell. And by the way, everybody around you, your accountants, your attorneys, everybody around you are also neophytes because they've been helping you run a business, not sell a business. So watch out for the big bad wolf. So here's the call, right? Here's the call. Are you a business owner running hard, burning out, and still not getting ahead? I'm Jason Sisneros, founder of Built to Exit. I've bought, built, fixed, exited over 24 companies of my own. I've helped hundreds of business owners do the same. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably didn't start your business to be trapped in it. And yet, here you are, overwhelmed, underpaid, drowning in noise from fake gurus and recycled advice. Been there. Built to Exit isn't just another course. It's not a magic bullet, it's a system. A proven blueprint built from real-world experience, not theory. We help owners control the 3 things that really matter in business: price, the timing, and the terms of your exit. Whether that means more cash in your pocket now, more freedom starting today, or a full-blown exit strategy that lets you walk away on your own terms, our team knows how to get you there. So if you're done guessing, done with the excuses, and ready to win? Visit builttoexit.biz today to schedule your free 15-minute strategy call with a senior advisor. We'll show you exactly where the leaks are in your business and how to fix them, because everybody exits. How you exit is the only thing that really matters. Builttoexit.biz. We play to win. Do you? I'm interested in acquiring your company. This is how it all starts. We represent a group of investors. Let's hop on a quick call about your exit. Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again. The first question back in writing Have you ever done this yourself personally before? Have you ever sold a business personally yourself? Yes or no? Okay. Number two, do you have, and you might have an estimate, I've got a valuation, go back, I don't know, a couple months or whatever, just look for the 7 types of valuations. You can get a ballpark of what your business is worth. Do you have X amount, whatever, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Do you have that amount in a bank account ready to purchase my business right now, today? Okay. Those two will save you from the people that I'm going to talk to you about here in a second, right? These are the things that they promise, by the way. 10x, we're going to get you a 10x. We're going to get you a 10x. And then they, I put, this is my team is being very, very nice right now by saying 3x is delivered. Usually these things never even sell. Okay. When you're dealing with these ding dongs. Okay. Milestone manipulation, right? They change the milestone. They set up, they get you to sign on. They help, and they're moving you through this, and they keep moving the goalposts because you don't really know what you're doing, and you have a team around you that doesn't know what they're doing either. So you're just an advisor without an authority. Okay. The straw house. Here's what a straw house looks like. No systems. It's all dependent on you, the owner, and it can be bought for nothing. I have people all the time that are like, Jason, really, honestly, what I want is somebody to take my business and I don't even really need to make any money. Why? Because it's become a drain, right? It's costing them $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. They're going in the hole quickly and they need to stop the bleed. And they're just like, if somebody would take this on, at least I could get to a place where my bleeding stops. Okay. Stick house, it gives you some structure. This is where, the most overused word in all of businessdom these days is you're scaling people. Scaling magic and scaling, I'm a scaling expert and all these other kind of things, right? But the buyer, all you have to do is just pull one of those. It's like Jenga, it's like Jenga or one of those threads where you pull it and then everything kind of falls apart. That's your stick house. Okay. The brick house, built to exit, baby. Built to exit. Clean books, train systems, valued and bought for high dollars because you've nailed the 4 areas. And for you to nail those 4 areas starting today, it's going to take you 18 months. Don't even don't go into exit prep at least for the next, unless you're working on these 4 fundamentals. You call us, use us, don't use us, whatever it is. But if you do nothing more, but you jump in on the area of relationship to customer, okay? That is the predictable cash flow that the buyer is going to buy. Everybody's like, oh, there's a lot of people out there that want to buy businesses. Bullshit. They do not want to buy. Write this down on something, okay? But the people that are out there looking for businesses right now, they're not looking for businesses. They're not looking in it for a feather in their cap. They're not looking in for it for head count. They're not in it for the justification. People that are out there looking for businesses are looking to buy certainty. Okay? Write that down. Because again, if we never meet and you never watch another thing from me, if you learn two things, everybody exits how matters, and 2, that on this side, people are not buying businesses, they're buying certainty. If you can't deliver that certainty, not an egoist certainty like, my business is awesome and I've been here for a lot of years and I've got a lot of reputation and people trust me and all the horse shit that I hear from business owners that, may be important to you. It might have been important for you to build that business up and to have those relationships. I'm not poo-pooing that, but what I am saying is that none of that matters to the potential buyer of your business. They're buying certainty, right? They're buying certainty. So no matter what, and I come across some really brilliant people who are incredibly stupid, right? And I was one of them, by the way. That they get into this mode where they make some money and they think that has now suddenly separated them out into some ethosphere that every decision that they make. I've got somebody in my life right now that I massively respect and has done very, very well for themselves. And at the end of the day, think that they know how to build a company to be able to exit and I'm watching them make every single mistake on the face of the planet. And we're good enough friends for him to know that, that he's seen what I've done for the people that are around me. He knows what we do at Built to Exit, but that's still that pride of thinking I built a successful business. My God, I can do anything. All right. Same reason why doctors' offices are some of the worst business owners, because they can save a life. They think that they can run a business. They don't come together. It's just, again, I've done it so many times myself. I still do it to this day when I'm like, oh, I've done these things. I've climbed these mountains. I've conquered these things. I've got the awards behind me. I've won some shit. I've sold my businesses. I should be able to shred 20 pounds of fat off of my body. Yeah, I need a coach. I need somebody who knows how to get me there, right? We just get stuck in this stuff. So these are the things that you want to do to build to exit, right? And this is such a great study. Did you build your house for your fairy tale, or did you build it for a fire sale? Your fairy tale is the end game that has a number and a whole lot of descriptives in it that you and your loved one, or you and yourself, or you and a team, or you and a coach, or you and one of our strategists sat down and nailed that out to say, that's my fairy tale, that's my end game, that's what I want to do with my life. And there's a number to it. And then you go, oh, I've got this tool called a business that its real true function is not to solve my mommy or daddy issues. It's not for me to, make myself better than my friends. It's not for me to stand out as somebody who deserves praise. It's not built for me to live in the right neighborhood. It's not built for me to be driving the right car that people will finally accept me as a human being. It's not built for me to be able to impress a woman or to impress a man or to impress my parents that I could take care of. It's not built for any of those reasons. It's built to create cash. A very specific kind of cash. Free cash flow. Not profit, because that's going to be an illusion, right? Not operating cash flow, because that has to go back into the business for it to sustain. Free cash flow, FCF. Do your studies on it, right? Free cash flow is the money you can pull off your table, put towards your end game, and be able to buy your freedom. It's the greatest realization for me was to realize that I was an indentured servant. Okay. At best, sometimes I was a slave because I had to pay things just to live, to pay taxes, to buy my food, to do these other things. That's what I had to live for. I was an indentured servant. I realized real quickly that regardless of how I wanted to play the game, I had to realize that this business was for me to be able to buy my freedom back. Period. End of sentence. For me and my family. I don't want to play games. I don't want to play word things. I don't want feel goodism. I don't want that bullshit in my life. What I want is people who love me enough to tell me the truth. And then to be able to give me systems, processes, things I can research, all of these types of things that I can then execute on once I've realized I've got my things settled. I've got my things settled. I know what my target is. And for me and my family, that's my job. For me to accept that responsibility, not anybody else's. Okay, the wolves. Here's the wolves. If they start talking to you, here's how you do a little bit of research. If you get that DM and they're like, hey, I'd like to talk to you about buying your business, blah, 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 just go track them down on social media, because it'll be really, really quick for you to understand that they are probably also selling some horse shit of buying businesses, no money down. They're probably also selling some horse shit of flipping businesses, right? These are the key words that tell you are dealing. We're giving them so much credit on the wolf side. A true private equity wolf is smart. They know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, even if they kick your ass on the pricing, the timing, and the terms, you're still going to get paid, because those wolves, they're just trying to get a better deal for their investors by buying your business at the lowest price possible. But they will buy it. And they will take it, and they will put the things in place that you could do for yourself, but they will increase the value of it so that they will be able to sell it to somebody else down the line to make all the money you could have made yourself. Those are good wolves. Those are good wolves. I don't like getting my ass kicked by anybody. So I had to turn myself into a wolf against a wolf when it was my business. I was like, I know your tactic, wolf. I know, look, come at me. We're going to have this conversation. And I earned their respect. Not only that, but I also increased my multiples. I increased the cash. I controlled in that deal the price, the timing, and the terms. Those are the only three things you need to know. Okay. So, but the other wolf side is you're going to see things like this no money down. You're going to see these things like, like business flipping. You're going to see that they just went to a $10,000 course for somebody over the weekend, and they paid for that because grandma gave them their credit card and they got their paycheck from McDonald's, and they're able to merge that together to go to a weekend to learn how to become an M&A expert. And now they're reaching out to you because that was part of the instruction. You've got to reach out to people that own businesses or you will never buy your first business. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. All right, let me put my McDonald's uniform down. No slights against McDonald's. I did a stint at McDonald's, nothing against that, but I definitely, when I was working at McDonald's at that time, I should not have been giving business advice. This is all my point is, nothing against McDonald's. But here, and then on the other side, they put that down and they go, now they're DMing you. That's who's on the other end of the DMs. It's like these princes, for the women that are out there, these princes that are going, I'd like to marry you and you be my princess and I have lots of money, right? Blah, blah, blah. On the girl side, on the guy side, it's like, oh, I'm looking for love, blah, 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 blah. And on that side of it, it's some 46-year-old fat dude in Lithuania, right? And on the other side, it's somebody trying to scam these women. And on the other side of these emails that are being sent out and the DMs and the reaching out of buying your business, on the other side of that is an unqualified, snot-nosed, wet behind the ear greenie who's going to waste your time. Just start there, and you're going to be way better off. Okay? Start there and you're going to be way better off. There are great business brokers. There are great business buyers. There's great business consultants. They are out there, but they are so busy that usually they don't have time to talk to you. They're not advertising. They're not marketing. They're certainly not reaching out to you in the DMs. They're certainly not emailing you from some email list that they bought somewhere. They're certainly not coming out of a weekend of 2 days of learning how to buy, run, negotiate taxes, raise funds for a multi-million-dollar purchase called your business. Okay, citing the LOI without reading the fine print. We have we're working through this right now with somebody, literally right now, where they just signed off on it. And, here they offered him a portion of the money, and it was a small portion. They went about gutting the company, and they took that buyer's legacy and just burned it to the ground. And the owner right now, currently, is having to start from zero after 20 years of putting their heart and soul into a business, okay? So here's a business. You can look at these, right? You can look at these deals. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them, but I give you things that you can research. Eberly sold at a 7.5. Satva kept control, took cash. HVAC roll-ups. We worked on a couple of these deals where they had a $5 million deal. They put $3 million, or they put 24 months in with us and bounce that up to $120 million exit. You've got, here's the things that my team put in place for you. You're strategically for you to do. And oh my gosh, I don't know. You'd have to go to builttoexit.biz. I know that they told me that it was going behind a paywall, that assessment, but I don't know if they did it yet. I didn't see any confirmation, so you might still be able to get it for free, but it's going behind a paywall, that assessment. Clean up your books. With a really smart business owner or somebody that understands how your business is going to be bought. That's how you want to run your books. Run drills without you. Start immediately trying to figure out how your business runs without you being a part of the equation. And then protect yourself by building yourself the right team around you. Not, I know a guy, if you've been in business for 20 years, your attorney, they're probably very trustworthy and they've done an amazing job for you. Okay. Your tax people, same exact thing, but they are for another scenario. They're not for the scenario of you prepping your business up for sale. Okay. But you got to get real specific on that. Okay. And then you want to start looking for the right strategic team to partner up with. So when somebody contacts you with, we want to buy your business, you must start vetting. Have you done this before? If you have, I want to talk to somebody that you successfully, took through the process. And if you haven't, who are you working with that does know what they're doing? And by the way, do you have the money to be able to pay $5 million, $6 million, $10 million, $20 million for my business right now? Or do you have to go raise it? These two questions will save you a shitload of time. It'll narrow down the window of people that you're dealing with. And so that's it. If you get over there right now, I don't know, again, if you're watching, I know that my team told me by August 1st that the assessment was going behind a paywall. I don't think it is yet. So you could probably still get over there and get yourself the free assessment. Super helpful in what you're doing. I will wrap up with this. This is the end of the show, and I will end with this. You've got to, there's a premise out there, and I don't know that it was Elon Musk that's credited with it, or it just became popular because he utilizes that in his management style. But I'll tell you that you've got to get really, really good at separating out noise from signal. Okay. Not my thought, but I have done a lot of thinking about it. I've done a lot of implementing this into my own life. And it just simply means look at your relationships, look at the conversations you have, look where you're spending your time. Take your phone out, and look at the last 30 days of text messages. Take your phone out and look at the last 30 days of voicemails. Take your phone out and look at the last 30 days of emails. And it's going to tell you a truth. It's going to tell you a truth about where you're going to be in the next 12 to 18 months of your life. The next 12 to 18 months of your life, God willing, are going to go by in our lives anyway. Maybe it's time to start thinking about taking different actions, thinking different thoughts, having your text messages transform into something that is inspirational and also feeding your business and displays that you are focused on the 4 areas that will build your business to exit. Your emails the same way, your phone calls, your voicemails, all of those things that represent your DMs, whatever attributes that you see. It's a really, really amazing opportunity for you in today's day and age to be able to control your own destiny. Okay. So I'm Jason Sisneros. I hope you found a lot of value in this show today, that you want to share it with somebody who needs to see it, that you are, that if these words hit you in a place that you go, thank you, just reach out. It's always nice to hear from people that go, you know what, we're really not your target audience, but we learned a lot and we're going to implement some stuff in our business. I love hearing those stories. And then if nothing else, it's free for you to join us over on Twitter every Saturday for 15 minutes to an hour or whatever, to meet other business owners that may end up being your customers, that may have a product and or service that you need in your own life. These people are amazing. They've been in my life for a long time. I've watched them grow. I've watched them change. I've watched them do the things. I've watched their businesses bloom in front of our eyes. Some of them are graduates of our education, and some of them are just people who've been around listening and going from never having a business to having a small one, and they're creeping their way up, in their businesses. So, welcome. Thank you. God bless you. I know the struggle you're in if you own a business. I know the future is always muddy for us. You never know what's coming around the corner, a 9/11, a COVID, AI, internet, the social media. You never know what's coming around the corner. But the thing about our family and this team of people called business owners is we always figure out a way, right? We always figure out a way, and we always take what's been produced and we make it better, because we are the ones that are making sure we're the conduit between the thing that eases suffering in the world and the people that are looking for that, okay? I love you all. You are my family. You're amazing. Those of you in Chicago, I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. I'm going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. Following week, we'll be up in Maryland. And the week after that, I think we're going to be in Mississippi. So anybody in those areas, reach out to us. We always love to get together to have dinner. Those of you in the Chicago area, that event is going to be Thursday from 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. In that area. So reach out. I don't know if I can get you in. It's a private event for a specific company, but I might be able to say, hey, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you or whatever that want to come and give me a hug can come and sit through it. Okay. Then I'll be on TV on Thursday on Friday. That'll be over Chicagoland. We're going to get a copy of it. You'll be able to see. We're doing 5 shows, 5 live TV shows on Friday next week. Okay. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you over on Twitter at the J Sisneros. Come and talk to us. Come meet the rest of the people. And I love you. Have an amazing week. We'll see you again next Saturday, where I may be in Chicago with the show, or I might be able to make it home on a late night flight. Okay. Love y'all. Peace.